Have you ever read a novel or watched a long movie? Probably the best example is a long TV series that lasts multiple seasons. The writers of those programs and movies and books create a story arc, which means beginning, high point, and end. And along with that story arc, they create these character arcs. So that what they do is they reveal a little bit about the characters along the way, so that you can be part of their growth and change and what happens to them, the events of their life. And so when you get to this part of the story, you understand why they act the way they do, or why they think the way they think. That's a creative way to do it, because if you gave everyone everything up front about a character, that would be kind of boring. It wouldn't be entertaining, and you couldn't digest it all at once. You'd read this list of qualities and things about this person, and then you'd have to remember them through the whole story. But if you learn a little bit along the way, a little bit each time, each episode, you get to know that character. You know, God wrote the scripture that way. He took 1,500 years, 40 authors, 66 books, and through that story arc, there were some character arcs, and the main character arc is Jesus. He introduces us in John 1:1 and teaches us that he's God, come in the flesh. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And then, for verse 14, he said, and the Word became flesh. So here it is, God come in the flesh. Then we get to chapter 2, and he's at the wedding at Cana, and he changes the water into wine. People need something to drink, and he provides it. Then we get to chapter 4, and we see him meeting the woman at the well. You know the story. If I could, I just want to read some verses from that chapter, John chapter 4, and said a woman of Samaria came to draw water, and Jesus said to her, give me a drink. For his disciples had gone away into the city to buy food. Then the woman of Samaria said to him, how is it that you, being a Jew, ask a drink from me, a Samaritan woman? For Jews have no dealings with Samaritans. Jesus answered and said to her, if you knew the gift of God and who it is that says to you, give me a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water. And the woman said to him, sir, you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where do you get that living water? How are you going to give me water? You didn't even bring anything to dip in the well. Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well, drank from it himself, and his sons and his livestock? Jesus answered and said to her, whoever drinks of this water, and I'm sure he was pointing at the well when he said it, whoever drinks of this water will thirst again. But whoever drinks of the water that I shall give him will never thirst. But the water that I shall give him will become in him a fountain of water, springing up into everlasting life. The woman said to him, Sir, give me this water, that I may not thirst, nor come here to draw. If you got something that's going to make it so I won't be thirsty anymore, and I won't have to do the work that it takes now to quench my thirst, I want it. She didn't understand yet what Jesus was talking about, that he was using water as a metaphor of her life. As you read on in the story, you see that he knows her already. He knows all about her. He knows about her broken relationships. He knows about her broken reputation. He knows about the pain that she's endured. And for most of us, we understand what it means to be thirsty on the inside. A drink of water may quench my thirst for a little while, but it never touches the dryness on the inside of my life. And Jesus says to her, I'll give you water that'll make you never be thirsty again. Water for the physical needs, quench that thirst. Water for the inner emotional and spiritual needs, quench that thirst. He promises her, you'll never be thirsty again if you drink what I give you. We go 2.5 years later. Jesus, having been betrayed and tried and beaten and hung on a cross, in John 19:28 says these words, I am thirsty. What? The one who promised the woman she would never thirst again now is thirsty? How is that? How does that work? Here's the thing about Jesus. You know, we saw it in John chapter 1, because here's what you have to do with Jesus. Whenever you ask a question about Jesus, you have to ask that question twice. Because Jesus was God come in the flesh. So he was 100% God and 100% man, all wrapped up into one package. And so when you ask the question about him being thirsty, you have to ask it of the man. Obviously, he was thirsty, beaten, bloody, dehydrated. I'm thirsty. But more than that, you have to ask the question, how can God be thirsty? Because here's what was happening for you and for me, that God himself hanging on a cross, taking the penalty of my sin and your sin, was being torn apart by that sin. Torn away, the living well, the living spring that he promised that woman, that he had experienced for all of eternity. He had never been thirsty before. But for you and for me, Jesus was allowing himself to be separated from his Father, experiencing thirst for the first time, and cries out, I'm thirsty for you, for me. God bless you.
Hey guys, hey, thank you for watching. Some of you made the best decisions of your life while you were watching the end of that message. You committed your life to Jesus Christ. And if you do, we are excited for you. We want to tell you congratulations. You just made the best decision of your life. That decision changed your destiny. And your whole life, from the moment you were born till right now, was leading up to that moment. Now, we want to help you follow through with that decision to follow Jesus. At the bottom of your screen, you're going to see this website, lovelandchurch.org. If you go to our website, lovelandchurch.org, you'll see a link that says Respond to God. Respond to God. Click on that link. You'll see a form that we want you to fill out, and it'll send us your information. We're not going to give that information to anybody else. All we're going to do with that information is reach out to you so that we can support you and help you follow through with your decision. You might have some questions now that you've given your life to Jesus Christ. What's next? How do I handle this? How do I talk to God? Those are all questions that we had ourselves when we came to Jesus, and we want to help you find the answers. So go to lovelandchurch.org, click on Respond to God, fill out the form, and we're going to get back with you very quickly so we can help you get to know your God better. God bless you.